We all wait with bated breath for Justin to think of what he's going to say.
Legion's Blind podcast. Legion's Blind. Take 2. Legion's Blind. Elijah, come talk to me. Blind podcast, episode number 2. Thank you for listening. The last episode we were talking about like how the band came to be and the start of how we all started playing music, and we kind of ended on an interesting topic. I think like the different personalities of the group and of the band, and I think that's a really important thing that a lot of people kind of think about but don't really take into too much consideration whenever they're either starting a band or even from a perspective of a fan. Like they don't realize that sometimes you're in a band with someone who's a complete asshole and you just can't fucking stand them, and I've been in those bands and my brother has always been my sounding board. Like, I'll just talk at him about, like, music stuff, and he doesn't have a musical bone in his body, but he loves everything I do. And he's like, whoa, that's so crazy that you fucking hate your lead singer. Why? And I'm like, because they're a fucking prick. Not now. Yeah. For the record, not now.
Maybe.
Don't lie, Justin.
Previous bands. But it's a funny thing, like, people just look at a band and they're like, oh, everybody gets along. You're a family, right? You guys are the best of friends, and reality is that it's not. And that's not to say that we all hate each other,
No,
I think the chemistry with us is actually really, really like amazing. Like, I'm still new to all of this, but like it's really cool how like there's that unspoken communication where you just look and you kind of know what the other person wants from you or what they need from you. And Raina talked about it all the time when she was in bands, especially with Eviction. She's told me on more than one occasion, we'll leave a show or we'll leave a practice when she was in Eviction, and she would get in the car and she'd be like, Christian is my musical soulmate. I swear to God, I'm never going to be in a band without Christian. And I'm like, just put a ring on his finger, Raina. What are you doing? No, musical soulmate's a totally different thing. But
yeah, it's easy to write with Raina for sure.
Right, but like you can have all that chemistry.
That's because she's so enthusiastic about things.
Oh my, I love talking
like
to
I
these two.
appreciate that shit. Like I got a little butthurt actually the other day when I sent, oh, this is my idea for this riff, and no one said a fucking thing. I was like, oh fuck, even Raina didn't say anything. Jesus, she hates it.
No.
No, I love, because I have their Snapchats, and I love like writing, because I write on acoustic, because as soon as you switch it over to like electric guitar, it's gonna sound much heavier.
Better.
Yeah.
But I'll send them like the acoustic stuff, and every time it's all caps. Hell yeah, I love that. We need to write that. Blah blah blah. And like, if I'm feeling down about myself for the day, I'm like, man, I'm kind of in a rut. I'll like go and I'll be like, I wrote this song like 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna send it to Raina real quick. She's gonna hype me up.
Because I like the shit y'all write. Y'all write some really good stuff. But like, you can have that chemistry, but we don't hang out on the weekends. Like,
rarely.
I've been to your house one time, and this is the first time I've been to Justin's house.
Actually, you've only been to my parents' house. You haven't been to my house.
No, I haven't. You're right. I've only ever been to your parents' house one time.
I mean, to be fair, Christian's only been here once too.
Yes, and that was to do something. That was to make that track for the live show, and that was the only reason I've ever been over here. We're all adults.
Right.
Like, we have jobs.
Well, the other thing is we see each other at least once a week.
Yeah. That's more than I see my friends.
Yeah.
Like,
that is my social life.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside of like,
what I think is super
for
cool.
like get-togethers, sure, maybe whatever.
Yeah.
My birthday, come hang out and get, whatever. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's get hammered. All right, cool.
That's different. We don't have to like hang out outside.
Yeah, what I think is super cool is like the first day you showed up to
And y'all were an hour
and
a
half.
half
Wrong way. That was my fault.
and a half late.
Yeah, okay, because
It wasn't even
I
a
put in
street.
the
It
wrong
Even on the
address.
right
Okay.
side of town.
Okay,
It was
let me
the
let
wrong-
me put this out. Let me put this out 100%. I wanted Justin in the band pretty bad at that point because
Yeah.
I knew Justin had the skills, and the little we've talked,
He was
I
like slinging leg at me. He was like, "Yeah,
Oh
which-
yeah.
you
I
want some?"
I was like, hey, meet me in the bathroom in 20 minutes if you want to be in this band. But but like no, I was honestly, that's the first time I've been nervous, I think, for someone to come play with me.
I understand
because
that,
I
yeah.
wanted Justin in the band. For one, I've seen him with Stain. I knew he could play.
Yeah.
For two, we actually didn't have much interaction together, even when we played shows together.
We didn't really.
I was always young, like most of the time I was, they were older and we were the kids, and obviously they were nice, but we were still the kids. We couldn't even drink at the bars. So I was nervous, and I was like, the girls have to be on point. And then y'all are an hour and a half late, and I'm sitting there with them. I'm nervous, so I don't have like my wits about me, like usually I could be quick-witted and talk, but I didn't even know what to say, so I just started playing riffs. I was like, I'm playing guitar, like I don't know. It was,
Like the kind of the benefit that I think you had. I was not nervous at all. I
Yeah.
went into, because I remember you hit me up like 3 or 4 weeks before that. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Asking, and I just wasn't really into it. I wasn't really into jumping into anything at the time, and then just randomly hit you up and was like, yeah, you still looking for a guitar player? I mean, why not? Why the hell not? And I wasn't nervous at all. I had the mindset of, if this works out, this works out.
yeah.
If it doesn't, I've been without a band for 6 months already, why not? And I think the benefit that we had kind of that cushion, because where we got together and jammed, the people that worked there, we had interacted with a lot,
Yeah.
at shows or doing other things. And so we were all kind of able to catch up
Yeah.
and kind of take the pressure off of like just you and I being in a room,
Yeah, exactly.
waiting on, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, Twiddledee and Twiddledum.
Sorry.
waiting on these two, and I feel like that kind of made it a lot more casual and a lot easier. I think
It did. It helped.
I didn't know you were nervous at all. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, no, because I honestly knew that about your situation.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you didn't have to join a band. I knew Stain had kind of recently broken up, so
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't even know if you were enjoying not having it and all that stuff. So I was like, more so, I felt like you were trying us out, other than us trying you out,
It kind of was,
Yeah.
and it was.
So I was perfectly fine with that. I was also working on like a solo thing. Mm-hmm. So not to sound like an asshole, I didn't need y'all.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like me wanting to be there holds a little more gravity because we did the couple of practices and I wanted to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be here. I wanted to work with y'all and write with y'all.
Yeah, see that's the thing about Christian is last episode, you said that you feel like some people may feel that, you're hard to work with.
Yeah.
And I can see like how I wouldn't say you're hard to work with. I'd just say like I wouldn't call you picky. You know what you want, you're going to
Yeah.
get that kind of
I'm a
sounds
little
dickish.
hard-headed.
Right.
But anyway, either way, point being, it was the chemistry between you two. Like the amp wasn't working with my bass, so I couldn't play with y'all
Right.
that day. But it's like everything you were pushing out, Christian was actually feeding off of.
Right.
With like zero, like you were getting so excited, and I was like, it's Justin.
Yeah.
This is it. It's
Well-
Justin.
well,
The
Well,
missing link.
it's not just. It wasn't just like Christian, because if I didn't get along with y'all, I would not be here. That
I was more worried about
That is a
Christian.
straight fact.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I feel like to be in a band for a long time with certain people, you have to focus on certain personality traits of certain people. Like, for instance, with Christian, you have to focus on he's a funny guy, he's a driven guy, he's kind of an asshole, so ignore that part.
Yeah.
Like, Raina, she can be forgetful, so just forget that part. She's genuinely excited about like everything. Ariana, super into everything, and very, very. You have this weird way of understanding how things are going to go musically, but you don't know how to vocalize it. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
you
have
kind
a
of
good
feel
ear.
like where certain parts of a song are going to go. Like, okay, so from here, the verse at this measure, we're going to go into a pre-chorus without having discussed it previous. But you don't know how to vocalize, like, this is where we should drop down to, the third fret, drop down to a G minor or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you have a feel about how music should go.
Yeah, I just,
Also, you're really easy to talk to, so, like,
thanks.
there's that. But, like, personality-wise, music is important to me, and I feel like it's important to most people, but if I
Yeah.
didn't get along with the people that I'm
Oh.
making music with, I'm not going to be in that band.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Going back to your point about being in bands like with people you can't stand, like I won't do it because I'm here honestly to write music. I love doing it. I love performing. That's my biggest thing is I like being on stage. That's why I'm a lead singer, not because I sing well, because I want attention. And 3, I have to like the people that I'm doing this with. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, oh, I gotta go see this guy.
Right,
just
yeah.
just to get on, just to do this. No, there's plenty of people who play music that I do get along with, and that hopefully your schedules end up matching up and you end up in a project together.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you're creatively meshing well.
Yes, yeah. And usually when you creatively mesh with somebody, you're gonna get along with them.
Sometimes, yeah.
To me, most of the time,
Most-
because
yeah, that's fair.
that means there's a shared connection there. If you're creating something, it comes from a place in you,
Yeah.
so
I
it
mean,
has to be in them too.
I've
you know?
jammed with guys that I get along with great. We have the same musical taste. We have the same like wavelength about how we want certain things to go, but we just can't do it.
Yeah.
It's whiskey dick is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
You're like, I
it's
really
kind of like,
wanna do
oh,
this."
this crush I have, I want her so bad, and she wants me, but I'm too drunk.
Yep.
And that's what it is.
That's the worst in the bar bathroom.
One of the things I feel like I bring more is a lot of experience.
Yeah.
You were talking
Fun.
about the skate station at Mandarin. I've played shows there
Yeah.
in a band.
That's funny.
When they had the Roller Girls that were there.
Oh yeah. That's
Like we
right.
did like intermission shows.
Yeah.
And
That's
that was
before
that was
That's before my time of even going there in middle school.
might
Might have been around the same time, but
might have been around the same time, or maybe it was just one of those nights that you didn't go
it might be.
because it wasn't that long ago.
How long?
But that was one of those bands that probably 10 years ago.
So yeah, it would have been around the same time.
Yeah.
Because I would have been 12, 10 years ago.
Oh, okay, Jesus fucking Christ, way to age me, dickhead.
There you go. That's right.
I'm fucking
I'm
ancient.
gonna live longer. I'm gonna see more of the future, bitch.
My parents fucked later than yours did. But that was also a band. That was a band that I learned a lot from in kind of being very aware of your situation and
Yeah.
very aware of I don't get along with this person at all.
Yeah.
So how much of this are you willing to tolerate? And what came time for me, they wanted to schedule a possibility of a show that was like a very this could possibly happen, but chances are it's not gonna happen. But we're gonna schedule it on this date. Well, that date I have something that I have to do that's I cannot back out of.
See, that's why I said some would say I'm hard to deal with, because that kind of thing I have a very low tolerance for.
Right.
Of like,
Yeah, no,
hey,
I feel
I
that.
said no, like I can't schedule this, or I don't really get along with this guy. I have a low tolerance for like,
Right.
I don't want to butt heads with anybody, really. I'm not confrontational.
Yeah.
But like, if I have to be, I will. But I'm not looking for that,
Right.
I'm not looking to have a confrontation with you. I'm not looking to argue with you. If we're arguing about a song, like how we're going to structure this, and we both have ideas for this song, I'm okay with
Which
that.
we haven't had.
No.
Yet.
But like, you can ask Raina, me and Zach were writing a song together for Eviction. And I wanted one fill, he wanted another. We literally spent half the practice playing the fills back and forth to each other and saying, this is the fill. No, this is the fill.
Yeah.
No, this is the fill. And it was intermittent, like when we were writing the song and we would I would play it his way and they'd be like, no. And then he would be like, fine, we'll try it your way. And then we'll play it like twice like that. And he'd go, no, it has to be this way. And like, we ended up landing on something in between them, you know, like we were just like, we need to write a new fill.
Right.
I don't mind that kind of headbutt because it's like, we're creatively trying to get to the same place.
Yeah.
Like, we just want to make the song better.
Actually, your former guitar player, George, is someone that I had worked with in Stain the Angel, and our personalities clashed a little bit. His personality clashed a lot with Brian. Him and Brian didn't get along as well. And that's, not to say that they hated each other. I mean, they both loved each other, and I'm pretty sure they still love each other, but their personalities clashed.
Yeah, and
a lot more than...
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. But he was someone that I had worked with. That was probably the first time, actually, that I worked with another guitar player when I was playing guitar.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Every other band that I played guitar in... No, I take that back. He was the second.
Well, you were mostly...
But the first, I was largely in control.
You have mostly a punk background, though, right? Like, mostly punk bands?
Largely, yeah.
Largely, yeah. See, punk usually one guitar. But, yeah, I've always had a second guitarist.
Right.
So, and for a long time, I didn't play guitar. I only sang. So, once one of our first guitarists that we had quit, I had to just pick up... I actually tried to play bass. And move our bassist over to guitar because he was better at guitar than me. I couldn't sing and play bass at the same time. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't do it.
I can't do it either.
It was like, it was strange.
You can barely do one.
But they're like, try playing guitar. They're like, try playing guitar and doing it. And I actually picked that up pretty easily. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm just more comfortable in the guitar position. But
I will say that playing guitar and making people believe that I'm a good guitar player is a lot easier than making people believe that I'm a good bass player.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a lot better of a bass player than I am a guitar player. But it's just perception, I guess.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because I play bass like I play a guitar. So it sounds impressive, but if you're a bassist, you're like, dude, that guy's playing guitar on a bass. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know what you're listening to and you're not in, like, you've played any kind of music, you hear a guitar player playing a bass.
Right,
I feel like.
The chords are different.
Yeah.
Like, chords on a bass are different on a guitar.
Yeah. Well...
Funny story,
simpler.
when I tried out for Stain the Angel, their bass player decided he wanted to leave, and I knew the guy, and I still know the guy. He's a cool guy, but he just did very simple root note stuff. I showed up to practice, or to my tryout, and was like, I know this. Watch this. Hit a chord, and Brian was like, dude, I fucking love you. Fuck, I'm in.
Bass chords. Bam.
It's me when I watch Christian play bass. Like, he was playing bass during practice today, and I'm just steady watching going, damn it. You know?
But and the problem is I was playing guitar on the bass. You were asking me if I knew, like, any Avenged Sevenfold songs. I know the guitar part. I don't know the bass part, so I just played the guitar part on the bass, and it ended up sounding good.
Yeah.
We were playing Shine, too, for a little bit, just because... And I was playing the guitar part. I don't know what the bass does, but I was playing the guitar part, and it sounds good on bass.
A good understanding of guitar will lead you in the right direction of what the bass is trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
They're two completely different instruments, and
serve different purposes.
Yeah.
Everything. Like saying that they're less skilled guitar players is actually like very much boiled down.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's kind of like saying that drummers are just non-talented musicians.
I fail to see.
I fail to see the comparison because that one's true.
Well, see, bass was a lot easier for me to pick up because 1, less strings. Okay. 2, less chords. 3, I started with guitar. My dad bought me my first guitar when I was like, Dad, I want to do this. And then my dad was a drummer, and I was impressed by everything that he did, even if it was like super simple. So then I moved to drums next.
Right.
And then she started picking up drums, and then I was like, okay, yeah, this is her element. I'm going to go find something else. Because I knew I wanted to be in a band with her.
Right.
So then I picked up bass after that, and I was like, yes, this is the one.
And that way you jam with the drums a lot more when you're on the bass too. So like that was probably a lot of y'all having like a connection
Yeah, for
and
sure.
wanting to play together. And you chose another rhythm type thing to do to actually jam.
When
with
they
her
find
more
the
than
pocket, they're going to be Metal's version of Flea and whoever the Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer is. I can't remember his fucking
But
name.
you know what's funny about that though is I started on guitar.
anything. Really?
yeah, I started on
Why
guitar.
did you start playing the drums?
Okay, so
She wasn't good at guitar.
That's actually not true.
really bad. I'm so bad.
She's lying. She's actually pretty fucking good.
I
heard
can
her
play
play.
acoustic guitar, and that is it. Like I can play a really awesome, like
C, G, B minor.
yeah, like I get.
She's a country star in the making.
She's
yeah.
perfect for AC/DC.
I write a lot of songs in acoustic,
Watch out, Angus.
and they're all depressing. Like all of them are about me, like
R.I.P. Malcolm.
sad.
But you
I'm gonna
started
throw it
playing
out there.
drums.
That one hurt me. That
You-
one did hurt me.
What's that?
Malcolm Young.
Okay. Oh
That
yeah,
one
yeah,
hurt
yeah.
me. That one hurt me. That was the sound of AC/DC. I usually don't get tore up about like
Yeah.
musicians or celebrities' deaths.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know that person, and I understand why, but some of them hit me,
I
and it was Malcolm was one of them.
Yeah, I think
Prince.
the hardest musician death that hit me like Bowie died, and that was kind of sad.
Yeah,
But was Jimmy Sullivan?
Same.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah. I knew that would be.
Yeah.
You know, he's like
He's a
I-
god to me.
Yeah, like I see the Rev play, and I'm like, yeah, that's I can see that in Reina.
yeah.
You know, and
Oh
he's
my
he's
god, thank you.
he's like my always. I always hate doing like top three because it always rotates like depending on my mood.
Whatever you're listening to, you're like, oh, this drummer's like one of the best.
Yeah, but like the top three is always going to have Travis Barker and the Rev,
Same.
and when he passed away, I was just fucking heartbroken.
yeah.
I just died. I just felt fortunate that I could see him perform before he passed away, and then see the band after.
I did too.
Yeah.
I
have
did
to.
not.
I will say they were better with the Rev.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Although I will say that Brooks Wackerman will sneak his way into my top 10 because he came from Bad Religion, and he's also a very, very skilled
very
player.
He's
good.
extremely
very good.
really, really
He's
good.
Even the Nightmare album, one of my favorite drum fills is "Start to Welcome to My Family."
with Mike Portnoy.
Yeah, with Portnoy.
Yeah.
When Portnoy came in,
Yeah.
that was like really good. I
How
thought.
badass do you have to be that you die and they bring in arguably the greatest drummer of all time
Portnoy, yeah.
to fill in, and it still falls short?
it
Yeah.
falls
Like
short
Nightmare's a
little
great album, don't
Great
get me
album.
wrong, but it falls short.
It's not Jimmy. That
No.
Jimmy was his own.
bit. They can't recreate a little piece
being.
of heaven like
Right.
ever. Like that song, not even really a metal song. Like it.
No.
It's
So-
like a musical.
My favorite of all time, favorite band of all time. I'm wearing the T-shirt now. Alice Cooper, and it's for that reason that the same reason I love A Little Piece of Heaven is it's so theatrical.
Yeah.
Even you can hear it in the music, and like Alice Cooper has said it. He wanted to bring Broadway and rock and roll together.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've seen Alice live 4 times. Dude's 70 years old, and he blows anybody else I've seen off the stage, and I go to shows.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And like I've seen.
I've heard you
Sevenfold.
compare Alice Cooper to what was the local band that we did the return show for, or the return show with?
Oh man, I don't know.
They did the makeup like Motionless in White.
Oh yeah.
You
Those
raved
guys are
about that
so
guy. You were
good.
like, he kind of reminds me of Alice Cooper.
It was the
like
theatrics.
yeah.
It's the theatrics, and honestly, like I said, I'm here for the attention. So the theatrics is my favorite.
Right,
Of
yeah.
like when you go see Alice Cooper, you're seeing essentially a play that
Right,
is
yeah.
accompanied
Yeah,
by
yeah, yeah.
his music, and I like his music too. Like even from the original band all the way through, I
Mm-hmm.
like his music. Even his periods where people would say he fell off, I still listen to it and bump it in the car.
Right, yeah.
Like I love Alice Cooper, and that was like my comparison was is A Little Piece of Heaven. What makes that song so good, written by the Rev, only reason I bring it up,
Right.
is it's theatrical.
Well, there was
It's
a lot
play.
of there was a lot of
Very
stuff on that album, and I think that's what made him such a special talent. There was a lot of stuff that was on that album that was directly contributed from
Yeah,
the Rev.
from the Rev, yeah.
Yeah. Even hearing from the album "Sound the Seventh Trumpet"
Yeah.
to "City of Evil" is just an incredible transition.
Yeah,
and
City
I
of
think that
Evil's
speaks
fantastic.
not just to how much influence he had in the band, but how much they grew.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really important thing is that, from personality wise, bands have to grow with each other,
Oh, for sure.
and you have to kind of allow that. You can't stay stuck in your way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that kind of almost brings it back to the point, because if I remember correctly, you started drumming, was it because of your dad or was it because of the Rev? Or both?
Well, it was a mixture of a lot of things, actually. So my dad had a drum kit. I actually have his drum kit now. He passed away. But my dad had a drum
R.I.P.
kit when I was, yeah. Rest in peace. But in the town I grew up, Jensen Beach, and he would never let me touch it because he was so afraid I'd break the heads. But my mom would sit me down at the kit when he was at work, and she'd let me play on it. I was like fucking, 4 or 5. And then I fell in love with drums at that point. And then because I couldn't play it, my mom started teaching me how to play guitar. And I started learning how to play like Silent Lucidity and stuff like that. My first ever learned song was Sanitarium.
Sanitarium's a great song.
Yeah, by Metallica.
Hey, pull out that Queensryche again. Let's go. Operation Mindcrime, one of the best albums ever made.
Right.
So, speaking of, we were talking about personalities in the band. I think it's actually important to have different influences too, because
Oh, for sure.
you're more of a punk guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more of like 80s, honestly, hair metal, 80s thrash, like that era is my pocket, and obviously some of the new stuff. I've been listening to Gojira all the time lately, and then you're like. You two are more of the almost emo scene, like Avenged Sevenfold, not part of that scene, but like the emo and Avenged Sevenfold, and a more honestly modern sound than what either me or Justin would even like call like our favorites,
Right.
Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not completely wrong, but there's a lot of things that Ariana and Rana both like that I kind of
Well, it crosses.
developed.
It
yeah,
definitely
they
crosses over.
Yeah, they definitely
like,
cross.
Like I said,
Like we were talking about My Chemical Romance earlier,
Yeah.
and I remember seeing them on the original Taste of Chaos tour.
Yeah.
With Senses Fail and just losing my goddamn mind.
I literally have a My Chemical Romance tattoo on my body.
Yeah.
I want one. They're in my top 3 for me. My Chemical Romance and Avenged Sevenfold. But yeah, no, when I started playing music, it was pop punk and punk. So anything from Rancid to Green
Which is
Day.
weird that you guys don't like Blink-182.
I do.
I love Blink-182.
they do. I don't.
I don't.
It's just
understand
his voice.
One of the first songs we learned as a
Tom's
family
voice is
band
awful.
was All the Small Things.
Yeah.
Small things.
Tom's voice. I hate Tom's voice. I hate Tom's voice.
we love it.
I love Blink, and when they got Matt Skiba to sing that, it was a perfect mesh of like pop punk gods, and I almost died because
See, I
Matt
just-
Skiba's a god.
I mean,
I just thought it was hilarious because, it gets stuck in your yed.
Yed. See, I took a lot of singing inspiration from Paramore, Flyleaf, and Fall Out Boy.
yeah. Well, to me, Fall Out Boy has some of the better vocals. Like I hear
Right.
Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco, obviously Brendan Urie, but Fall Out Boy has some of the best like melody lines and stuff like that.
What-
Yeah, like Haley
I-
Williams is in my range, but Patrick I have a very fast vibrato. It's almost like I have no control over it sometimes. But his is the same, and so is Brendan Urie. So I found it easier to practice to those two.
I think this is a very good topic for us to discuss on episode 3, and so we're going to end episode 2 of Legion's Blind Podcast with that. Bye.